Hello, and welcome to our 10th episode of the Wild Knights podcast.
How did we get this far?
I don't know.
How much filler content did we had to do?
Quite a bit.
That's so much of it. The season started yesterday.
Anyways,
It is the eve of the NHL season for the teams that matter.
you forgot to do the thing.
Sorry. Welcome to the Wild Knights podcast, hosted by a Knights fan.
And a Wild fan.
And we're very excited to cover all the news, notes, wacky and wonderful from the world of hockey as the regular season in North America is
Has
underway.
officially started.
We're going.
Oh,
Started
so
last
happy.
night, but let's be honest, none of the games last night matter. However, we will be talking about them.
Hey. We watched Utah.
They did. We watched Utah play their first ever game. Which
I should
is,
say I watched the first period of Utah, but
realistically, though, you watched the game because the Hawks only scored 2. So you watched the game-winning goal happen in the first period.
awesome.
There is only realistically, we're only going to talk about 2 games from yesterday because, as the name implies, this is a podcast about the Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild.
But we like to venture into other parts of hockey world from time to time.
Yeah, that's true.
All the time.
All the time, yes. But the Golden Knights get underway tonight from the Fortress at eventually 1:00 because they're the back half of a TNT doubleheader. So while it does say puck drop is scheduled for 9:00,
We'll see.
I don't believe that as far as I can throw it.
Well, you had personal experience with this last year.
Yeah, last year when the game was supposed to start at 7 local and it didn't start till 8:30 local because of an overtime.
Yep.
Oh, God, that was an awful. I spent so much time in T-Mobile Arena last year getting ready. I literally waited an hour and a half on the concourse to go down to the glass an hour before warmups. It was crazy.
I can understand that, considering that, I mean, you know this, last
Yeah.
spring break, I was in California and we ended up going over to Anaheim to catch a game.
Right.
Still not over that game, but it's fine.
No, I know you're not. I know you're not.
Still not over it. But basically what happened there is, it was LA traffic. So we budgeted like 2.5 hours and we got there like an hour earlier than we intended.
Dude, yeah.
So we literally opened up the stadium and just walked around for like 2 hours. It was ridiculous.
But needless to say, with the start of the regular season, there's a lot of festivities. And there was actually a lot of pomp and circumstance in the lead up to the dropping of the puck last night.
Mm-hmm.
So before we dive into what the Golden Knights are going to do tonight against the Avs and what the Minnesota
are gonna
Wild
do tomorrow.
are going to do tomorrow against the Blue Jackets, let's talk about the 2 big news stories. Actually, the 3 big news stories to come out of the NHL prior to us recording this. And we're, for reference, recording this on Wednesday, October 9th. Mm-hmm. So, I believe it was 2 days ago. 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Biggest controversy, biggest question mark going into the NHL regular season was Jeremy fucking Swayman, goaltender
Yes. Swayman.
for the Boston Bruins. Well, for a while there, everybody was convinced he was going to be a Golden Knight, but that's another conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys, I think it's going to be interesting.
We were never in on it.
No, but I think it's going to be interesting with Samsonov.
Yeah.
Samsonov.
Yeah,
Wow.
but luckily we were never in on him. The trade that was being thrown around was it would have been Samsonov's rights on a sign then trade for Aiden Hill and the only other first round pick we still have in Brendan Brisson, because I don't count Trevor Connolly because he's still at Providence. So that's what that would have been, but it didn't work out because despite all odds, the Bruins and Swayman, despite their public battles, have gotten together and agreed to an 8-year, $8.5 million extension.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot of money for a goalie.
That's a lot.
I think that makes him like
Isn't it like the league like max too?
no. Technically,
No. Well, technically 8 years is, but
yeah. The duration is the maximum. The amount isn't the maximum. I'm not entirely sure who the highest paid goalie currently is. It might be. It's probably Sergei Bobrovsky. I think he makes 10.
Bobrovsky though.
He makes a lot.
He deserves to make a lot.
Well, he did backstop the Panthers to a Stanley Cup last year. But so, and what makes the story even funnier is the Bruins played last night,
yes.
except Swayman didn't play. Their backup Jonas Korpisalo did, the guy they got in the Linus Ullmark trade.
Is that why they lost 4-6?
Yes, that is exactly why they lost 6-4, because they couldn't stop the puck. I think he gave up 3 goals on his first 5 shots or something in the first period. The
Ridiculous.
game was over before it even started. Panthers, by the way, their banner raising ceremony sucked by comparison.
Says the person who was at the Golden Knights one last year.
Listen.
I love when I
Listen.
goat you.
Listen.
Yes. Yes.
Last night. Mm-hmm. You want to know what the Panthers raised their banner out of?
What?
Nothing. Out of a box.
Okay.
That was it.
And Vegas goes 100 million miles more than they
Because
need to.
we're cool, goddammit.
No, it's because it's Vegas.
Because we're cool.
You guys have to compete with everything else on the strip, which is the only reason why you have such like fantastic things at your games.
All I'm going to say, the Golden Knights have their annual gold carpet event in about 3 hours as of time of recording.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to hop on a plane right now, just like I did last year, oddly enough, I'd make it just in time for the start. And that's going to be one of the highest attended events on the strip since about 2 a.m. this morning when they blew up the Tropicana.
They blew up some orange juice?
No, they blew up the hotel.
I know, I'm
I
just
know,
kidding.
you've been making fun of that all day.
Every time I heard it, I'm like, oh, so they're blowing up the orange juice.
I'm more of a
Okay.
I'm more of a Minute Maid guy myself, but
Apparently, Tropicana has too much pulp for you.
it does. It has too much pulp. Even their pulp free has pulp.
Anyway.
We're getting sidetracked. So yeah, Jeremy Swayman signs his contract. Mm-hmm. And for about 20 minutes, the biggest goalie controversy in the NHL was solved. That was until Igor Shesterkin of the New York Rangers woke up and said, you know what? It's time to fuck some shit up. And this is alleged, so I don't know if this is official. It hasn't been confirmed by all the parties, but major writers, Elliot Friedman and the like, all the insiders say this is true. Mm-hmm. Igor Shesterkin, entering the last year of his contract with the New York Rangers, was received, offered, and rejected an 8-year, $11 million per year contract.
He gave up 11 million.
He gave up the title of being the highest paid goalie in NHL history.
Wow.
And his rationale, the rationale that I've read, is just stupid. You ready for the rationale? Because
yes.
I told you the figure this morning walking into class, but I didn't tell you the rationale for why he said no.
Why did he say no?
Allegedly, it's because the cap is going up, and he doesn't want his salary to be a number. He doesn't want to have the highest total contract value of any goalie in the history of the league.
He wants highest percentage.
He wants the highest percentage of cap spent on goalies. So even with the $11 million offer a year, that's not the same percentage of the cap as Sergei Bobrovsky's $10 million right now, or Carey Price's $10 million from a few years ago. So he wants to make about 20% he probably wants to make around 17% of the New York Rangers total cap for next year. And the cap's going to be $92.5 million probably. That's the projected. It's going to be above $90 million next year. So you can do the back of the napkin math. He's looking for like Draisaitl money to play goalie.
I mean, you guys can't see me, but I'm just shaking my head right now.
Oh God, like, aren't you happy that your goaltending? Aren't we both happy that our teams have pretty set goalie systems now?
Yeah, I'm concerned about how many goalies we have.
That's a good problem to have. My team's got 6.
I'd rather have too many than too little.
Yeah, and so like there was a moment where the tandem in Boston with that Swayman thing looming could have been Korpisalo and Kaskasuo.
Who?
He's on their AHL team. He came on a PTO.
Okay, got it.
And he's in the AHL. I think he's the AHL backup now. Granted, actually, no, it wouldn't have been Kaskasuo. It would have been Debussy. I'm not kidding.
No, I know. You've talked about.
Yeah. Their AHL starter is, I don't know his name. It's Debussy, but it's spelled Debussy. And it's really funny. So those are the two big news going into opening night, going into the kickoff night. And so which of those is the most surprising to you? The fact that Swayman actually signed his contract, or that Shesterkin said no to being the highest paid goalie in history?
Rangers.
Yeah,
100%.
That's shocking.
Well, if you really think about it, where's Swayman going to go?
Nowhere. Well, there are like 3 teams that could trade for him and give him the contract he wants.
But the thing is that none of those has the prominent and the reputation that Boston has.
That's true. He could have gone to Toronto.
They just dumped Samsonov. I don't think that Swayman wants to go to Toronto.
Who is their backup goalie right now?
Who's their goalie right now?
Oh my God, I have no idea. I think it's Joseph Woll.
Okay. I don't
And Anthony Stolars is their backup, fresh off of backing up Sergei Bobrovsky to a Stanley Cup.
Remember, I'm not very good with players and other teams.
It took me a second to figure it out too. No, it's their goalie. We're getting way sidetracked here. It's in Toronto. It's Joseph Woll and Anthony Stolars
Okay.
as the first stringer and then backup.
You're the player and stats guy. I'm just having opinions.
I just have
over
too much
here.
on-hand knowledge. It's honestly a curse. I can't walk through life with this much knowledge.
Yeah.
So, with all that being said, drops the puck. Boston gets eviscerated on banner raising night in Florida. Just like what happened 2 years ago in the playoffs. Boston walks in, is woefully underprepared,
womp.
and gets rolled. Seattle blows a 2-goal lead in 4 minutes to lose the game 3-2 to St. Louis at home. Mm-hmm. So that's a tough one. And then, of course, the Utah Hockey Club opens a can of whoop ass on Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks in their first ever home game.
Does that really surprise you?
Not at all.
It's the Blackhawks. I mean, even okay. So we had watched the first period. I lied. I actually watched, I think, the part of the third period.
Yeah, like I tuned in and out. I was watching the Dodgers and Padres game.
I put it on because I was going to bed. And
Because that's how boring Blackhawks games are. You can fall asleep to them.
It was either listen to the broadcast of that game and while I'm falling asleep.
Yep.
Didn't last long, by the way. Or it was watch a kind of sad episode of a TV show I've been watching. So I was like, okay.
You're allowed to say that you were watching Desperate Housewives.
I mean, yeah, I'm fine with that. But it was just, I was on a sad episode. I'm not going to tell you which one because.
So you went from a aged sad soap opera to a modern travesty that is the modern Blackhawks.
I mean, even when the announcers are like, this team's rebuilding,
Yeah.
I'm like, they've been rebuilding for 3 or 4
Yeah.
years. You would hope to God that they would actually be getting somewhere.
Yeah, no.
And I just feel bad because we kind of had this conversation yesterday. I was speculating, does no one want to go work for Chicago?
Well,
after
I mean,
all of the shit that went down in the 2010s.
What's crazy is they actually have a lot of talented players now, like good veteran players. They've got Tyler Bertuzzi, who was good in Boston and who was good in Toronto. They've got Taylor Hall, former, I think, number 2 pick or something. He's a super high draft pick. And he used to play for the Oilers.
Yeah, but it just
Devils.
seems like no matter who they have on their team, they just can't get it together.
And then they've got Alec Martinez, 3-time Cup champion with the Knights. He
Again.
looked terrible.
Again,
Last night.
it seems like they just
don't
can't
know.
get it together.
No, and their coach is just bad.
I'm surprised they kept their coach.
I have no we were watching it beginning of the game, and you're like, oh wow, it's his 3rd season in Chicago. Fourth.
I'm pretty sure it's his 4th season in Chicago. It's his 3rd or his 4th.
I could have swore the Hawks have fired their coach twice in the last 3 years. I don't
Maybe
know.
I'm thinking of Utah. Give me a second.
No, Utah definitely
I
just
know
changed coaches.
for a fact Chicago had the same coach last year.
No, Utah just changed coaches middle of last year when they were still the Arizona Coyotes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, the Delta Center in Utah is actually kind of cool. I have a hard time wrapping my head around the obstructed seats that are there where you can only see one net. But they're going to work it out. Remember, this was all leverage. They're going to leverage the city of Salt Lake, who gets to host the 2032 Winter Olympics.
Yep.
Is it 2032 or 2036?
Well,
Or 2030? No, it's 2034. Because it's the 2034 Winter Olympics.
Okay.
Because the 26 one is in Italy. The 31 is I have no idea where, and then I think the 34 one is in Salt Lake.
So Richardson was named the Blackhawks coach in June 24th, 2022. So he's been there for 2 years.
Damn. He's got absolutely nothing to show for it. Except he tanked
Despite
well.
a challenging first 2 seasons as head coach, in which the team went a combined 49, 102, and 13. Apparently, he's been praised for his managerial abilities,
Ouch.
despite working with a weak roster. Quote from Wikipedia.
Okay, well, that's accurate because their roster has sucked. His number 1 accomplishment as coach is losing enough games to draft Connor Bedard. Mm-hmm. So, anyway.
So, yeah, this is his 3rd season with the Blackhawks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, that puts a bow on last night's action. Mm-hmm. It was a blowout, a come from behind, and the Blackhawks. And that
Yep.
brings us to the events of today. And the most exciting thing for me personally.
I'm going to let you talk about it because I
That's-
can tell you're super excited.
Hey, you get your time, and I will
know.
act excited because
know.
we get to do something cool tomorrow for the Wild game.
And I want to talk about the PWHL schedule that
Oh,
got leaked
yeah,
on Reddit.
the oopsie daisy. Here's the Toronto Scepter schedule.
Yep.
We'll get to that in a
We'll
sec.
get to that.
We'll get to that in a sec. I get to nerd out for a second because it's going to be fun. So tonight is the beginning of campaign numero 8 for the Golden Knights. They put out their roster video today. It's something that they used to do back in the day, a couple years ago. I think they stopped doing it 2 years ago. They used to do like old 70s, 80s TV show intros to do their player introductions.
Yep.
Like they did Golden Girls a couple years ago. They did Gilligan's Island a couple years ago.
I want to see the Golden Girls one
I'll show you when we wrap because one, I have to do some digging for it, and two, it's all trademarked and copyrighted to hell. So if we put it, even the audio on here, we'd be immediately DMCA'd into a black hole. So I don't want to deal with the Digital Millennia Copyright Act. I hate that. Fun fact: I've actually already had to deal with a claim of that on my YouTube channel.
Anyways.
Yeah. Anyway, this year's really, really, really cool. For if you were, raised under a rock or anything, you would know that the city of Las Vegas is the host of Formula One's newest Grand Prix, the Las Vegas Grand Prix.
Which was a complete shit show last year.
Oh, but it was so cool. It was so cool. It was a total shit show until the race started, and then it was awesome.
Anyways.
It was a total disaster municipally wise, but it was super, super cool. So F1 has this super recognizable theme song that plays at the beginning of every race and a very famous driver introduction scene. So the Knights just ripped it off entirely. Just completely ripped it off. Used the same music, used the same font, used the same motifs to film it. And it's one of the coolest things I have ever seen in my entire life. It is so cool.
It's okay.
Okay. I get it.
I just felt like it was super quick.
It was quicker than usual.
And that's more what I had. Like, I think it was very well done.
Well, yeah.
It was just like boom, 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 boom. I'm trying to read these people's names and they're gone in 2 seconds.
The thing is, they had to put 25 players in a theme that is only designed to accommodate 20 people. Because on F1, there's only 20 drivers.
Well, what they should have done is they should have just extended it.
Yeah, they can't. They can't do that because it's music.
They could have.
They could have done something different.
They could have.
Yeah, they could have.
They could have, like, edited it or, like, just re-looped it.
Potentially.
Or, like, cut it and extended it. There's ways to do it. There's ways to edit stuff.
That's true. There are ways to do it. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, yes, the gold carpet, which is something that I got to do last year. That begins today.
Cue him crying that he's missing it.
No, because I don't want to have a 30-hour travel day again. And I can't because I have class tonight.
Yeah, I know. We don't have class tomorrow, though.
It's the fact that I have a transactions midterm in 3 hours that I have to turn in.
That's fair.
Which is why I'm not currently jet setting it to Sin City. But I wouldn't do that to myself again. Not again. So that's going on. And then, of course, you have the game. I think it's Mark Stone Pin Night. So anybody in attendance is going to get a cool little commemorative Stone pin. I actually have a bunch of autographs on a jersey from last year when I was there. It's not my jersey because I have a weird thing about autograph jerseys because I like to wear mine, unlike somebody on this podcast.
Hi.
Yeah, that's a personal
What do you
attack.
mean?
You don't wear autograph things. You've told me.
Yeah,
I'm going to
don't.
jump ahead because you've got the green carpet tomorrow here in Minnesota.
Yes.
And you're going to be going to that, and I'm probably going to be going to that too. And you haven't decided what you want to get autographed because once you get something autographed, you're never wearing it again.
Correct.
So you're like, oh, should I use my Spurgeon jersey that I just bought last year and have worn exactly once? Or should I like go down to the Hockey Lodge and buy a Fanatics jersey with the blank back? Because I'm not fucking wearing a Fanatics jersey anyway because they all suck.
Okay, let me explain before people come at me. So I don't understand how people can wear jerseys that were autographed. And here's why. For those of you who know me personally know that I'm a big klutz and I am accident prone. I have had food, beer, a pizza flung at me once. Not at a game, but it has happened.
And the real problem is every time you go down to Xcel Energy Center, you have to walk by the curb.
Yeah, but
The curb that almost ended your career before it started.
That's not here nor there because at the end of the day, I was fine.
Yeah. You are a klutz, though. Like
I am.
1,000%. You are a total klutz.
So, and people sitting around you are also klutzes.
That I have firsthand experience of on as
So
well.
do you really want to be wearing an autographed jersey when someone behind you decides that they're so drunk that they spill their beer on you?
Yeah.
You don't. You don't want
you
that.
Don't. You don't want to be wearing your white, freshly signed, freshly inked up jersey.
And that's why I have issue with it. It's if you are confident enough to wear an autographed jersey to a game,
Yep.
good for you, because I am not.
I know somebody like that.
Your father.
Yeah, my dad is one of
Your
those
dad,
people. He's
yeah.
got last year at the Gold Carpet, to bring it back to our conversation about the Knights before we dive into Minnesota in a few minutes. Last year he brought down, or he has a Hockey Fights Cancer jersey. And
Those jerseys are cool.
They really are.
I really want
They're
one.
so cool. And these are the old Hockey Fights Cancer jerseys, like the one from like 3 years ago that has all the lavender ribbon swoops on the inside of the numbers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, no, it's the really cool one.
Yeah, some of those are really dope, but anyways.
And he got that one all autographed up at the Gold Carpet last year. I think he's got like 14 signatures on the back of it. And he wore it to the opening night last year. I don't know if he's worn it since. Actually, no, scratch that. He wore it when we saw a game in Tampa and when we saw a game in Miami last year, both losses. So maybe there's something to be said to the fact that that jersey is 1 and 2 in its lifetime. We're gonna find out tonight. I think he's wearing it tonight.
Who do you guys play? The Avs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an
Have
Avs.
fun.
Oh god, we've played them twice in the last 3 games. Split it. But anyway, to kind of hammer home the point, it's been a really interesting 24 hours for the Golden Knights. We had to send some players down to become roster compliant. And in that, we got to, do our favorite thing, which is giving Edmonton the biggest middle finger possible and claimed one of their top prospects on
Nice.
waivers. I'm so happy about that. All right, let's just do a quick recap of what's happened the last 24 hours. The Golden Knights had to send down 3 players to be compliant, all 3 of which weren't eligible clearing waivers. We had this conversation on the last episode that we've got the 2 players that can go down freely and come up freely.
Oh yeah, and right
then
after
the 3 that don't.
and right after we posted,
One of them got signed.
Signed, yeah.
So I guess we'll start there. Tanner Pearson got signed. He's going to be on the opening night roster. Couldn't be any more excited about that. He's a great player. He's going to be great.
good.
The other 2, and then 3 players got sent down. I believe it was Tanner Lazinski, Zach Aston Reese, and honest to God, I can't remember the third one. I think it was maybe, was it? Yeah, it was probably Brendan Brisson, honestly. So he's one of the players that could like freely go up and down. And so Aston Reese did not clear waivers. He got claimed by the Blue Jackets. So we're going to see him tomorrow night.
Cool.
So that'll be cool. And then, it was Jonas Ronberger was the other one that couldn't, for the Knights, that could possibly get claimed. Denmark's future captain at the Olympics. So he got down. Tanner Lazinski got down. And somehow we picked up Raphael Lavoie coming out of Edmonton. He's like a 2nd-round pick from the Oilers. And he's got like a couple of NHL games under his belt. Great player. And then one other guy who I have kind of forgotten existed because, he didn't come from Edmonton. And so there's nothing more exciting than stealing something from a division rival. It feels good. Got him the same way we got Greg Dennis from Florida, who played his first NHL game in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final in 2023.
Hey, you know what? You used him.
Yeah, we did use him last year. With all the injuries. But we made some interesting moves, claimed some interesting players, and all the players that I really wanted to get down to the AHL got down to the AHL and are going to begin their year in Henderson, in Cedar Park, Texas, where I would be on Friday. Except I'm not.
I mean, you could.
No, I can't. It's too expensive.
Yeah.
Plus, we're going to a game on Saturday.
Going to
Going to a lot of Wild games.
We are, but I'll explain.
We'll get there.
Yep.
We'll get there. So, with that being said, the roster for the Knights is going to be a little interesting tonight, mostly because no William Karlsson. So that's going to be rough starting your year without your second line center. due to injury.
I was going to say, is he still injured?
Yeah, he's still out. I have no idea who's filling in his slot. I'm probably going to find out about 9 o'clock tonight Central, or whenever the hell the game starts tonight. It's going to be really close and really interesting. I would expect the game tonight to be very, very sloppy because these are two teams that didn't play most of their starters all preseason.
Yeah.
I think Stone only played twice.
Spurgeon played.
Yay!
But that's...
It's been a long time since Spurgeon has played in Minnesota.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
It's like, what, November of last year? Yeah, I think he got hurt in November.
He got hurt.
And then he came back for like 2 games in February.
He got hurt in the preseason.
Yeah.
Came back, I think, in December.
Got hurt
played
again.
Like 2 games, got hurt again,
And
and
that
was
was it.
out for the rest
That
of
was
the
it.
season.
Yeah.
So he played maybe a total of 4.
Yeah, I think I remember
10
walking
games.
into class when you were reading the headline and you were like inconsolable.
I wasn't inconsolable.
You were trending towards inconsolable.
I wasn't inconsolable.
You were upset. But what's going to be interesting is I just have no idea how tonight's going to go. The line combinations are super up in the air because if you believe the last preseason game, Victor Olofsson, who you've never heard of, is going to be on the top line with Stone and Eichel.
Huh.
It's some Buffalo chemistry coming home to roost.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned it before at some point.
This is going to be the top line. It's going to be a guy making $9 million or $10 million a year.
Yep.
Next to a guy who's making $9 million a year.
Next to a guy that's making like 1.
Next to a guy who's making $1 million a year. Actually, sorry, it's not $1 million. It's $995,000 a year.
So round up to like $1 million.
Round up to $1 million. So it's a very expensive first line, but it's mostly buoyed by 2 players. So there's that. And then the rest of the lineup's just going to be the Wild West. I have no idea what Bruce Cassidy is thinking right now.
Well, he's probably thinking that now's the time to figure out line combinations before you get too far into the season, because once you dig yourself into a pretty sizable hole, you can't get out.
Yeah, and you don't have time to practice. Like, they just don't practice in the regular season. There is one line that I absolutely hope they keep together tonight, and I have no idea if they're going to. It's the line of Tomas Hertl, Alexander Holtz, and Pavel Dorofeev. In the last game of the preseason, that line combined for 4 goals.
I'm sure we'll see that line come back at some point this year.
It's probably going to be tonight.
It's
It's probably gonna be
interesting.
tonight.
It's interesting how people change their lines frequently from
Yeah.
year to year, even if they have the same players and they had good chemistry the previous year. I find that
Yeah.
interesting, but that's just me.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Getting off to a good start for this team is going to be really important this year because they got off to a great start last year and then kind of imploded in December. I think they went 2 for December and 3 for January, and that's why they got into such a bad spot.
Well, you guys had just injury after injury.
Many injuries. Do the hockey gods hate us?
They hate you.
Like, why?
They hate you.
I know they hate me in particular, but like,
Bill Guerin just hates us.
dude, Bill Guerin hates you guys. I've never met somebody who is less of a Wild fan than Bill Guerin.
Sometimes it feels like that. I know. He has a
Dude.
greater like.
He's got the plan. You got to
He's
trust
got
the
a greater.
process.
I understand he's got a greater plan, but it's very hard to trust the process when you miss the playoffs for the first time ever. Granted, we never got past round 1, but it was always the comfort. It's like, knock on wood.
That's metal.
I don't care. No, it's plastic, but I don't care.
Knock on plastic.
I don't care.
Fair enough.
It's one of those things where Minnesota sports, you're expecting them to let you down. Now, I'm not even going to speak about the Vikings right now. 'cause I don't wanna jinx
We don't
it.
want to talk about that one
But
right
perfect
now.
example is the Twins. That happened this past year.
True.
We were all primed in like July, maybe beginning of August.
Yep.
We were winning. We were not top of the division, but we at least were in the running
Yeah, you
to
guys
be
were-
a decent finish.
Yeah, you guys were okay.
And then shit hits the fan like it always does.
Yep.
So being a Minnesota
have-
sports fan is just so
Yeah.
interesting.
I have the unofficial lines for tonight now. They were just posted on Twitter about 2 minutes ago.
Okay, let's hear it.
Olofsson, Eichel, Stone.
Okay.
Dorofeev, Hertl, Holtz. So that line's going to be together.
You're super
As
excited.
the
I can tell.
But the second line?
Hey, if they put up 4 goals.
Yeah, but that was as the third line. Whatever. And against the Sharks. And then Barbashev, Waugh, Brisson. Brisson's
Okay.
not supposed to be in the opening night lineup. He's there because Carlson's hurt. Mm-hmm. And then Pearson, Howden, Colasar. That's a very good fourth line that showed a lot of chemistry in their one game together in the preseason.
Good.
So that's good. Third line's up in the air, but putting Waugh at center is a good choice. They tried him at wing, and it just was a certifiable disaster. All preseason. And then Theodore Petrangelo, Hannafin, Haig, which I'm convinced could be a law firm. Hannafin and Haig, defenders at blue line. And then McNabb, Whitecloud with Hill and Net. So that's about what I expected going into tonight, and that is subject to change. It is,
Prelim.
7 hours to go.
Yeah, it's preliminary.
Until game. But that's what it was in Morningscape.
Okay.
And so it's gonna be an interesting time tonight. I'm gonna try this year. I told myself this last year. That since they won the Stanley Cup, I could finally calm down a little bit because this core was able to accomplish something. We get 10 games into the year last year. Knights have not lost a game in regulation. They're like 10-0-1 to start the season.
They were like 13-0.
Blow a lead in the third period to the Ducks, and I'm completely fucking livid. Like, I'm throwing shit around my apartment. I can't do that again this year.
You're going to.
I know I'm going to. I know I'm going to go into the game tonight with all the optimism in the world, and I'm also going to say, Ian, you're going to stay calm this time. And
no,
then
you're not.
And then Petrangelo is going to do something stupid and give up a goal, and I'm going to get pissed, and I'm going to fall back into the same exact thing that I do every single year, which is get way too invested. I saw a post on Twitter yesterday that I feel personally attacked by. The post that reads, "Oh boy, I can't wait to have a hockey team determine my emotions for the next 8 months." And I feel attacked because it's true.
I'm just letting you go at this point.
I'm rounding towards done.
Okay.
Because it's gonna be so bad. This team's gonna suck, and I hate it. No, they're gonna be okay.
They're gonna be fine.
They're projected to get third. So the EA Sports did a full season simulation, and they, like the mighty powers that is EA Sports, have them finishing third in the Pacific.
Nice.
You don't want to know where EA Sports has the Wild finishing in the Central.
Wild card.
8th.
Oh yeah, no, that's not gonna happen.
Last.
That's not
They
gonna
have
happen.
you finishing last in the division.
Nah.
Behind Chicago makes the playoffs in their sim.
No.
Utah makes the playoffs in their sim.
Utah looked good last night, but we'll see if they pulled the usual Coyotes.
You want to know why I have absolutely no trust in that simulation? You want to know who was 4th in the Pacific behind Vegas?
The Canucks.
San Jose.
San Jose's gonna come out swinging, I think.
They're not. It's the Sharks. The Sharks haven't put together a winning season since like going to the final.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
But
I don't know,
going
man.
back to how you watch hockey, he gets upset.
I do.
He gets upset when I'm like, what are you doing?
I have too much sports IQ to see people who make 30 times more than I will ever make in my life make simple mistakes.
See,
Now,
but
I have a newfound appreciation since starting playing hockey again for just how fast it can be. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, dude, you've been doing it since you were 3. I don't know. Anyway,
But
tonight's going to go how it's going to go.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. You get really upset and really mad, and your mad stays with you the whole entire night till the next morning, and then you come to class and you're all moody and gloomy and doomy.
I am. Hopefully that's not tomorrow because actually, no, we don't have class
We don't
tomorrow.
even have class tomorrow,
Yeah, screw
bro.
it. I can rage against the machine tonight.
And then you have me, who actively like yells at the TV and stuff.
You do.
But I leave it the second that we lose. I'm like, well, that's a terrible showing. Guess we'll get them next time, and that's that.
Yeah, I just have expectations.
See, I do too, but I also realistically know that I can't get mad at things that I can't control.
I don't know.
That you remind me all the time.
Yeah, but I'm very do as I say, not as I do about this stuff. Anyway, I think that's enough of I think I've grandstanded enough. I mean, all my questions will either be answered or be massively emphasized at 9 o'clock tonight when the puck drops. And so I'm sure the next episode you hear of this, I will either be very happy or very, very upset.
Fair.
So with that, let's turn over to what our events are for tomorrow evening.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Downtown St. Paul, Excel Energy Center.
Hell yeah, it's going to be a party, man.
It's going to be a really sad.
It's going to be a party.
It's going to be a party, except for 5 minutes in the middle where it's going to be really sad
Yeah.
because it's the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, so I'm sure that they're
They're
do
gonna do
something.
something. Yeah.
No, I'm excited because I don't get to see one wild game. I get to see two
You get
in the
to
next like few days.
You get to see one tomorrow, one on Saturday. I get to see one tomorrow and one on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was not supposed to go to the one on Saturday,
True.
but my parents have a conflict,
Yep.
and they didn't realize that it was the same day.
And season tickets.
And yeah, and we have a half season ticket.
Yep.
So
Hey, I'll take it. Club
And,
level.
yeah.
Club level seats. Hell yeah.
and then other time we're literally middle of the upper deck.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Yeah, it's going to be
fantastic.
really cool.
Yeah.
But are you excited for the green carpet?
I am.
You've never done anything like this before.
I haven't.
It's really cool. I have no idea where it is. I know it's like on the Skyway
It's River
from the
Center.
parking garage.
It's River Center. I'm not sure where. In
I'm
River
sure there
Center,
will be signs.
but- I'm sure. And it starts at 3 tomorrow. So we're literally gonna get it. I was gonna say we're literally gonna get out of class.
No,
We
we're
don't have
gonna
class.
get off the ice.
We're going skating.
We're gonna
tomorrow.
work on your goalie stuff.
Yes,
We're going
yes,
to
we
work
are.
on your goalie skills. I'm going to fire pucks at your head again.
Not tomorrow.
I won't fire pucks at your head.
No, not tomorrow.
I will fire pucks at your legs then.
No, not
I
tomorrow.
know. I know. Anyway, so we're gonna do that. Come back.
Shower.
Well, yeah, and then head on down and spend
Probably a good like 8 hours. Yeah.
in downtown St. Paul, which would be cool.
Maybe hit up Cosetta's.
Just don't blow up your ankle again.
Well, we're not walking that way, so I won't have to.
I will make us walk that way.
No, because I won't walk off. Okay, for those of you who don't know.
I will carry you over that curb if I have
For
to.
those of you who don't know. It was
She's a big dum-dum.
It was March. It was not snowing. It was not icy.
Yes, because Minnesota doesn't do that anymore.
No, it does. Just not last year.
This year's going to be rough.
Oh, this year is going to be
So
rough.
excited.
So we're walking out of Cosetta's in downtown St. Paul. And I'm talking to my friend. I look back and I'm like, ha ha ha. Like we're laughing about something. Make a joke. Stepping off a curb. I know I'm stepping off a curb. I realize where I'm going. I did not realize that this curb was basically,
Falling apart.
falling apart. Thank you. I can't ever remember what it's the words to that. It's crumbling under my feet. And I go to put my foot down, like heel to toe, and kind of miss
Yep.
and end up falling flat on my side, and it hurt like a motherfucker.
You were limping for like a good month.
Yeah. And
You
then
know.
the worst part of it is that when I was icing it, I had it like flexed and then it got stuck flexed, which was fun because the muscles tensed up. But I'm fine. It's fine. Everything's good now. But yeah, so he likes to give me shit every time
I
we walk
do,
by
because it
there.
is kind of funny.
It is funny. It was not funny at the time. So, but I'm excited for tomorrow. I don't know if Bully's going to play yet.
I don't think he's going to.
I don't think he is either.
I'm sure he'll be down at the gold carpet, so if you want his autograph, you can get it.
You can ask Ian. One of my favorite
Boldy.
offensive players is Boldy.
Yeah, I think. Let me hold on. Let me see if I can get this right. Because I should know this.
Yes.
All right. Favorite players.
Oh. He fully
oh.
participated in practice yesterday.
Hey, there we go. That's good. It doesn't mean he's going to play, but that's
He was week to week.
okay. So
Set to play Thursday. He's playing! Yay! I'm
Yippee!
so glad I looked that up.
Nice. All right, let's see. Let's see if I can get this right. Favorite up front, Boldy. Favorite on the back end, Faber. Least favorite up front, doesn't play for the Wild anymore. It was Duhaime. And least favorite on the back end, unfortunately, is still a Wild, and it's Chisholm.
Oh, who, me?
Yeah. You like Gustafson, but you've warmed up to Fleury.
Yeah.
So you like them both equally, but if you had to pick, if you had to pick one autograph to get, you'd probably get Gustafson. Although I would fight you on that one.
I'd actually
'Cause
probably get Flurry.
He's going into the Hall of Fame, so I'd get him. I don't know.
You said my favorite on the back end is Faber?
Yeah.
No.
Who's your favorite? Spurgeon. Duh.
How can you get that so blatantly wrong?
You want to know how illiterate I am for the Wild team right now, and I've got to work on that for the sake of this podcast and the fact that I
I'm
live
illiterate
and the
with
fact that I
the
live in
Knights.
Minnesota. We're going to work on that both ways.
Yeah.
Just so we can have more informed conversations on this podcast. I have believed for the longest time, and I have convinced myself in my brain that Jared Spurgeon's a forward. I always thought he was a forward.
Why?
I don't
Is
know.
it because he's short?
I used to only watch 2 Wild games a year, and then maybe 5 when they were in the playoffs.
So you thought he was short and he was a forward?
No, I always remember him. I always remember seeing him on like the front end of offensive zone plays. I know he plays like down in the zone.
It's because
and,
he
like,
he is very good at communicating with other people on the ice.
Yeah, like I know he activates up into the play a lot, but like I just in my mind I always had him as a forward.
Yeah,
I know he
which
isn't.
is why we heard actually so much. I feel like last year is because
Yeah.
we didn't have that
He
dynamic.
didn't have any punch on the back end. It was just Faber doing his best.
It would. Don't come for Bogosian. I have a soft spot for our
No.
defense.
I'm talking offensively. Like it was Faber doing his best to be the offensive defenseman.
Okay, that's fair.
No,
I will give you
Bogosian
that.
was great.
Each
Goligoski,
team,
not so great.
Well, he retired now.
Yeah, he retired.
So, yeah, I
then-
feel like here's the thing.
Yeah.
I have a very big soft spot for our defense,
Yeah.
and that's because, you grow up watching Spurgeon and Suter and all these people.
Yep.
Pretty sure Brodin has been around forever as
Ever.
well.
Forever.
Middleton's been a good addition. Like Bogosian was a great addition last year.
Yeah, that worked out well.
Like I have a soft spot for our defense because I feel like each one plays so distinctly, but
Yep.
it's exactly what our team needs. And
Yeah.
that's why with Spurgeon out, it was such like a heartbreak because it's, and I mean, and then Brodin was out for part of it, and Middleton I think was out for part of it. So it's like we have these people that are very talented and can do stuff on the back end,
Yep.
and it's fun watching them play.
Yeah.
And it's so heartbreaking to see us trying to fill holes that we just can't fill.
No, it is. But
It really is.
I think this season has a little bit more optimism in Minnesota. Just aside from the fact that the Vikings are somehow 5-0 to start the year, going into their bye week.
Knock on some wood. Thank you.
Yeah, I knocked on wood. Don't worry.
Thank you.
I am a big a Viking fan as anybody else. There. Happy now?
No.
Okay.
We got to stop talking about this. We're
yeah.
going to jinx them.
All right. How about those Twins? Huh? They can't even get a broadcast in their own city. Anyway. Yeah, the Wild are going to be pretty interesting. At least in my opinion, they're going to be interesting this year. I just have no idea where they're going to finish. The Central Division's so up in the air with Winnipeg imploding. How we saw them give up 8 last time they were in Minnesota, and Nashville doing Nashville things, and Utah looking passable last night. It's going to be the Wild West. Like, obviously, the Stars are on top, and the Avs are going to be up there.
Here's the thing. Utah, we know how the Coyotes have gone the past how many seasons.
Yep.
They start off pretty acceptable,
And then January happens.
and then they somehow dip between December and January. And then they kind of see an uptick, and then they go down again.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that was...
Probably a strength of schedule thing.
Yeah, but I'm also wondering if it was partially like management
Possibly.
and like how the owner really didn't take care of the team.
I mean, I'd also want to not play very hard if I was playing at Mullet Arena. I think we've played hockey games in bigger stadiums.
Probably.
I think we're going to in like November.
Probably. But it's one of those things where I'm just like, shit, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's gonna be a time. Mm-hmm. I think the Wild are in a good spot though this year. It's just all on health. It's all on health. If you guys can stay healthy, I think you guys will make the playoffs. Because I think last year, I mean, let's think your big providers: Hartman, Kaprizov, Ek, Boldy.
Ek was out for
For
a
a
little
while.
bit. Boldy was out for a little bit. Kaprizov was out for a little bit.
Yeah, if you guys stay healthy last year, you probably make the playoffs over like Nashville or something.
No, I don't think we'd go over Nashville, but I think that we would have squeaked into the last spot.
Yeah, which would have made me really upset. But no, it's going to be an interesting season, I think.
No, I think it's going to be an interesting season. I mean, we have many returning players. We have Trennan now, too.
Yeah, we'll see how he does. I'm curious about what he
We'll
does.
see how... I think we've added some depth to our team.
Yeah.
Or at least tinkered enough with it. Granted, we did not make a lot of off-season moves because we couldn't.
Right.
Because we're protecting the talent we have.
Plus, you have Zach Parise still playing for you guys. And Ryan Suter is still playing for you guys.
Yeah, so the Caps are coming off after this year. So
Thank God.
I think what they were really trying to do was protect what we already had.
Right.
So that they can make moves next year and not feel like they got screwed.
Right.
So I really think that was I'm not going to say good or bad move from our front office. I think it was an interesting move that I think might pan out for them.
Yeah. No, I think
So.
it might pan out pretty well.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do. Again, it's hard because last year we had so many injuries. We have a new coach, for the first time, doing a full year in a while. So it's like, okay, where are you going to go from here? So we'll see how they do because it's hard to say, especially after last season.
Yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. By the way, I just rediscovered the tweet that you saw me get really mad at in class.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to. You said we needed to talk about it today,
Yes, we do.
but I just wanted to know if you put a bow on your thoughts on the Wild.
Yes, I was wrapping up. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think I'm done.
Okay, I don't want to step on any toes.
No, I think that it's hard because we have this almost exact same team as we did last year with
Yeah.
some minor tweaks and changes.
Yeah.
And because of the salary cap, we just couldn't make those moves.
I'm so excited for the LED towels. By the way,
I know.
I have no idea what those are going to look like. Apparently, there's light up towels tomorrow.
I'm excited.
I'm so excited. I'm excited to watch hockey again. Honestly,
know.
Like I goes giddy at the preseason
I'm
game.
so happy that I have a hockey buddy now.
I'm upset that I don't get to see a game in Vegas until New Year's.
That's fine.
But that's fine.
It'll be
I
okay.
think I get to see 4 of them while I'm there.
Yeah, just
I'll wait.
bask in the glory and you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, no. Like I'm going to enjoy the game
Mm-hmm.
because now, if you by chance are watching the game and you see a very out of place Golden Knights jersey on the club level, that's me. So be nice to me if you see me. As much as my co-host here would like to change that fact, I am one of
Okay,
pride.
listen.
What?
I got you a practice jersey.
You did.
With Fleury
Yes,
for a reason.
and that is going to be a very common occurrence because it's the only thing I can stomach right now.
He refuses to put on my jerseys, and this happens every time we talk
Okay.
about jerseys. I bring this up on this podcast.
I might make the exception for tomorrow because if you want to try and get 2 things autographed, I'll have to wear one on my back because I'm not carrying a jersey around all day. So
Well, if we're carrying jerseys, we're putting them in the car.
we'll put them in the car.
Yeah.
But we'll figure it out. We'll see how tonight goes. If tonight goes well for the Knights, I might change my tune a little bit. But if tonight goes poorly, hell no. Hell no. I might exclusively try and get Fleury to try and sign my practice jersey. He won't. He won't.
Why not?
Do I need to recap how he left Vegas?
No, but I'm sure still has love for the Vegas fans. Still have love for him.
No, he doesn't.
Okay, well
Well,
then.
actually, I have no idea. We have a lot of love for him.
Well, if you guys have a lot of love for him, I don't think that he's going to be pissy at you.
We'll see. I don't know.
How many Golden Knights jerseys have we seen with Fleury walking around the stadium?
Couple,
A decent amount.
yeah. Yeah, I think I've seen like 3 or 4.
there's 3 different types of Wild fans,
You've
or
got
at least like fans that go to the Wild game outside of the opposing team. You have the diehard fans
Who
that
have
have Coho jerseys
From way back in the day.
From way back in the
red
day.
ones or the green ones.
that are just rocking them because
That's what they had.
That's what they
since-
have, and that's what they love.
They've got like oh God, what's his name? What's his the name's escaping me. The
Koivu?
boogeyman. The boogeyman.
Oh, Bouchard,
Yeah. Bouchard.
Bouchard or Bugard.
Or Bugard. Yeah, Bugard.
I'm like, there's 2.
Yeah, Bugard. We've seen too many Bugard jerseys around.
Yeah.
So you've got your super fans.
Yep. Like the old school super fans.
Yep.
You got the super fans that are new.
So Kaprizov.
Okay, I should say we have 4. 4 different types.
Yes.
Because you have the old school, the new school ones that all like basically stand Kaprizov and that's it, and don't actually know that much about hockey.
You have so much disdain for people like that.
Okay, if it's they like Kaprizov because they're not buying into the whole whatever.
Yep.
Like he's the best. I understand he's the best player that puts up numbers, but there's a lot of different ways that you can measure best player in hockey.
Right.
And then you have the people that are just there that have like the crop top Wild shirts who don't actually know what's going on,
Like, yeah, go team.
who annoy the crap out of me when they talk really, really loudly.
Oh,
There's
man.
a story behind
You
that.
got to stretch out that guy's hips. His hips must be exhausted.
Okay, they were.
We
for the
talked about
opposite
this on the
team,
last
yeah.
podcast. We don't need to rehash.
And then you have the people that just stand specific players. Example, Fleury.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some people that, yeah.
But
And then
anyways,
and then you got the away, actually, and then I would argue there are two subcategories as well. You got the away fans,
Yep.
which for most games out of the year is not me, except for 2 this year, where it very much will be me.
Well, yeah, but you just wear your Knights jersey
Yeah. And
all
then,
the time.
And then you have the people who are wearing their beer league jerseys,
I love those people.
which is also probably going to be me here in a few months. Hey. There's like one hockey team that I will put above the Knights in my care, and it's the one that we started,
That's fair.
which we'll be plugging
So we
later.
wanted to talk about the Kraken, though.
Oh, God. Okay. So we're sitting in criminal procedure today, and we're being lectured at about the exclusionary rule,
Of the Fourth Amendment.
the Fourth
and-
Amendment, and the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine, which is nowhere near as cool as it actually sounds. And I'm scrolling Twitter because I'm bored out of my skull, and I've already done the notes because I claim to be a good student. And this tweet comes up from the Kraken Pod on Twitter. Quote, "The Seattle Kraken story is more impressive than the Golden Knights expansion story due to planning properly for the future. From year 1 to 2, the Kraken are historically one of the best expansion stories ever. But naturally, the media ignores us for favor of larger markets." Your thoughts?
Listen.
You don't even have any skin in the game, and you
Listen.
were upset when I showed you this.
Okay.
Because all I typed in Discord was "cope, look at my screen," and then
Yep.
you went off.
Yeah.
You
So-
got mad for me, and it was hilarious.
So, okay, let me explain.
Yeah.
Let me start with Seattle's inability to do anything bold.
Well, actually, we could even just start with the inconsistency. You missed the playoffs by a mile the first year. You make it to the second round the second year. Then you miss the playoffs by a mile your third year.
Again, it's the Kraken. Okay, and this is a person. This is coming from me, a person who is a Wild fan. But I want to be able to cheer on the Kraken. Like if I had to pick a secondary team, they're a close second for me,
Right.
and or at least they're in the running. So this is coming from someone who wants to be a Kraken fan. Okay, so this is not coming from someone who hates their guts.
Right.
You don't do anything bold. You don't do anything that encourages player development. And you guys have players that are very, very good, but you don't use them properly. You don't
Yeah.
train them. You don't plan for the future. You don't focus on player development. You don't do any of these things to do a bold move.
And then you
so
spend-
you become irrelevant.
And then you spend $7 million on Chandler Stevenson.
But then that's the thing is that you become irrelevant. And
Yeah.
then the whole, bigger markets, bro.
Seattle's
Bro.
got more people
Bro.
than...
No. 2.2 million people live in the Vegas metro area. Do you know how many people live in Nevada? Like
many?
3.2.
Well, yeah, because like the rest of it's desert.
Yep, but that's my point. 3.2. Do you know how many people live in the Seattle metro area alone?
At least 25.
4 million. They have more people than the state of Nevada.
And
then-
bigger market.
And then Nevada has to also go against all the California teams. They have to go against
Washington, they
the-
got Vancouver right across the way.
who?
The Kraken, they got the Canucks right down the street.
Yeah, okay, but they're Canadian.
That's true.
So so you have the only people on that side besides the two Canadian teams are the Kraken up in that area. And then Nevada, Golden Knights specifically have to basically go against Anaheim, San Jose,
Yep.
the Kings, the Avalanche,
Yep.
Utah, what was formerly the Coyotes. So the Coyotes fans are probably following Utah until they get a team of their own.
Actually, they're not.
I know you told me
They've-
that this is the
so-
second biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a poll done about 6 months ago. Once it was kind of formally announced that the Coyotes were going to be leaving, asking residents of Phoenix and Scottsdale and the general Coyotes viewing window who their second favorite team was. And it was the Golden Knights. And they have actually moved. So part of the settlement that they had to reach with the NHL, because Utah kind of exists in their viewing window, they get Arizona's old viewing window. And so they get to provide games, local broadcasts to Scottsdale and Phoenix.
That's cool. But
Yeah.
even with that, Seattle, Washington in general, is the only state
Yep.
in that upper part outside of Canada who has anything. Oregon doesn't have a team.
No.
Idaho doesn't have a team. Montana doesn't have a team.
Yeah, they got potatoes and bears, respectively.
Yeah, but that's my point, is that you have this ability to inherently like have all these people watch your broadcast. So
Yep.
no offense, but bigger market my ass.
Yeah, bigger market my ass.
It's no
indeed.
different than the Wild pulling people from part of Wisconsin and the Dakotas and Iowa. It's no different.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is somebody wanting to be like, oh, my franchise gets you so bad.
Maybe your franchise needs to be bolder and do more things.
Dude.
I say that as a person who wants to be a Kraken fan.
You want to know something that's always kind of rubbed me the wrong way about the Kraken? So they named a captain their first year,
Yep.
something that Vegas didn't do. And then they traded their captain at the deadline. Mm-hmm. What kind of a message does that send, not only to your fans, but to your locker room?
I mean, I can't speak to that because I don't know enough about that specific instance.
It was Mark
but
Giordano. They traded him to Toronto.
again, I just think that the Kraken, if they want to be relevant, they have to try to be relevant somehow.
Yeah, and they're struggling.
And right now, they're a mid-tier team at best.
Well, they're off
Which
to
is unfortunate.
They're off to a rough start this year after absolutely blowing it to the Blues on opening night.
Sad.
that's
I mean,
rough.
here's the thing, though. Everyone after like the next like couple days is going to be 0-1, 1-0, 2-0, 1-1, 0-2. You know what I mean? Like you're going to have those. So until we're about 20 games in, I don't think that we're going to see a lot of. It'll be interesting to see where everyone is 20 games into the season, or even 10 games into the season.
I agree. It will be interesting to see.
Because you can lose your first game and then go on a winning streak. Like it happens.
That's true.
So
I don't know.
what do you think about the thing? Sorry, I went off on a rant.
No, I agree because I think that saying that one expansion team has it worse than the other, there is one area that Vegas does have it unequivocally worse than Seattle. Do you want to know what that area is?
Where?
Wins outdoors.
Yeah, you guys got fucked
We
by
are
Seattle.
0-2 to Seattle's 1-0. So, we do have it worse.
See, here's the thing too, is that Seattle can be a good team. I know they can
Yep.
be. But they're just something is not clicking and they need to figure it out this season.
Yeah.
Otherwise they're just gonna repeat a cycle. Because
Yeah.
they've been that way. They have been that way as long as I have been like subtly following them.
I mean,
and like keeping tabs on
As
them.
a fan of a team in their division, it kind of part of me does want them to be bad because like the Sharks are going to get better, the Kings are going to get better, the Flames are eventually going to stop sucking, and I'd like to be able to make the playoffs for a while. So the fact that Seattle might get their act together is a little concerning, but I just don't think that this core is going to get it together because like Shane Wright turned into nothing, Matty Beniers has only been okay. And Chandler Stevenson's your second highest paid player. When the Knights got him, he was sent over for a 4th round pick, which turned out to be nothing. So
It just seems like either they're mismanaging something at like
Yep.
the management level or something. I don't know what it is.
the only thing they did right is they are the ones who are employing the first full-time female assistant coach.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yep.
maybe bringing her in is kind of the shakeup they need
It was
because I'm
a-
sure that she will provide some different perspectives that they have not thought
She's
about.
also like, I checked her resume for the first time. She's actually like objectively a very good coach and should be somebody, and I'm going to use this word carefully. It's somebody that the Kraken should definitely be grooming to be the head coach one day.
Yeah, I think that her resume speaks for herself,
Yeah.
and I wonder if that's why they went with.
Hackstall.
I'm assuming that's why they went with her because I mean she has coached or at least helped coach an AHL team.
No, and this-
she's played hockey, so she understands.
No,
she
this-
knows.
And this actually helps us segue into the last thing we wanted to talk about, which was the leaked PWHL schedule. But I just wanted to touch on that because like that was a piece of history that was made last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
and,
And that's what I was gonna.
You know,
circle back
I'm
to.
not really one to wade into, issues like this, but just because I'm me. But it is really, really cool to see that happen. And I have a feeling it's going to start being a little bit more common throughout the NHL.
I hope so, because I feel like
Well, I mean, you've got...
I'm going to go on a soapbox for a minute here.
Yeah.
Like exactly a minute.
Okay. I'm going to time you.
Okay.
Go.
So the thing that people have to remember is that hockey is a sport that men and women play.
Correct.
And I think that women's sports oftentimes gets overlooked because it's not as fast or not as strong or not as this or not as that as like men's sports. Mm-hmm. And so I think having a female coach in the NHL really, really emphasizes that women can play sports and women know how to play sports.
Yep, I agree.
I'm done.
Okay. And
I wasn't going to go on too big a tangent.
Okay. And I'm going to at myself on this one. I'm a total hockey nerd. Mm-hmm. And while I've been to a PWHL Minnesota game, now Minnesota Frost game, and I'm looking forward to going to another one this year.
Hell yeah.
Or at least one or two more this year. One thing that I did say the first game I went to, the only game I've been to of PWHL in person, was that it was a little slower than the NHL. Obviously, it kind of felt like an American League game. But that's associating the top-tier professional women's league to the second highest tier men's professional league with mostly NHL players in it.
With the fact that PWHL has not been around.
Yeah, and it's going to catch up.
It already has been catching up.
With all the new things that PWHL has entered into, I think it's going to be interesting. Especially now, all they have to do is release the goddamn schedule so I can know when to buy tickets because I want to go see Minnesota play.
Well, good thing that I have some information.
Cue Redditors and the Toronto Scepters being fucking stupid.
Well, I don't know if it was accidentally or if they actually meant to post it.
Let's call it accidentally on purpose.
Yeah.
For the sake of discussion.
So the Scepters accidentally released their schedule. I think it was because someone was looking up tickets.
I think it was like their November schedule or something.
Well, I have more than their November schedule.
Oh, I only just saw the November schedule.
Yeah. So apparently, Toronto's playing the Minnesota Frost, December 7th at 2 p.m.
in Minnesota or in Toronto?
It says Toronto versus Minnesota. So I'm guessing
that would be in Minnesota.
No, everyone says this versus that.
Oh,
so
weird.
I think it might be in Toronto.
Okay. Well,
but
still.
the first game they have is November 30th.
Okay, so we're looking at a post-American Thanksgiving start to the PWHL season.
Well, and it would make sense because I think last week I came across a thing that said that they're doing like November 20th around that time.
Yeah.
They're doing like a preseason scrimmage type
cool.
stuff.
Aren't they doing all that like here in Minnesota?
No, they're doing it in, I want to say Toronto or Montreal. Okay. They're doing it in Canada for sure. So. All right.
No, that'll be cool.
But they're doing like a training camp scrimmage type thing up there, and then they're going to probably start the season.
Hasn't the first overall pick from the last draft not signed yet?
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah, and Amanda Kessel fucked off to be the GM of an AHL team.
Good for her.
Good for her. We've covered her. I think it was on episode 5.
In the first.
Yeah, it was like a month ago when we talked about it.
No, it might have been episode 3.
It was a while ago.
Yeah, because it was ago. It was when she got engaged.
Yeah, it was that week.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna really quickly be really upset at PWHL for 2 seconds.
Are you gonna talk about what I think you're gonna talk about?
They have a jacket.
Yep, that's what I thought.
And it is $280.
It's so cool
and
too. It's so cool.
They're almost sold out, and it makes me really upset because I was gonna buy one.
Yep.
But it's $280.
It's so expensive.
It's so expensive. And someone got their jacket, and the Toronto Scepters logo was upside down. You spend $280 on a fucking jacket, you would expect it to be right.
I only have one question.
Which is what?
Is Fanatics responsible for making that jacket?
No.
Because that sounds like something Fanatics would do.
I don't think so.
I'm amazed that Fanatics hasn't screwed up yet.
I'm also just really... No, they have screwed up. We don't talk about it.
Not enough.
No. But I'm just upset because PWHL gear is just...
So
I don't want to spend $80 on a crew neck sweatshirt. I don't. No. It's so cool, but I don't want to do it.
No, I agree.
It's upsetting. Because last year also their gear was kind of shit.
They're new. It'll be better this year now that there's IP to build around. I also love the fact that every time we walk into Xcel Energy Center, we will have the antiquated banner the only one that looks like that up here. It's like it'll be the only one that says PWHL Minnesota.
I really want to go to the season opener for PWHL.
Well, let's wait and see when it is. It's going to be right after.
I want to buy tickets.
It sounds like it's going to be right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So we'll just be,
hoping.
we'll just be in the trenches studying for midterms. Everything will be fine.
You mean
Or
finals?
Finals.
I do that
oh,
too.
Dear God. Anyway. Is that everything you wanted to talk about? I'm going to take a quick scroll through Twitter because some of these news stories are fast evolving. Oh, we got an update from the Golden Knights. Oh, it's just Bruce Cassidy saying, "Oh, the home crowd's going to be fun tonight." Yes, it is. One day, I cannot wait to get in there later this year and have my lungs shake inside my rib cage.
There will be 32 games this next season for PWHL.
That's an improvement. Because didn't last year they only played like 24?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
So I am eager to see if the new general manager for the Minnesota Frost can actually address the issues that Minnesota Frost has behind the scenes.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and be optimistic about that.
I think the only way that they can do it is if they fire their coach, but
we'll see. We will see.
It really depends on who started perpetrating this stuff first, but
correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I'm excited, but I'm also kind of meh. And I'm really annoyed too because that jacket that is so cool is $280, and the only things they have left is a size medium. Everyone else is sold out. And I looked at it like yesterday or 2 days ago, and every size was available, and
that's
now it's
sold
out.
And you need a size large?
I don't need a size large. I think I could fit into a medium. I just would like a large.
Fair enough.
Because a jacket, you just want it to be oversized and cuddly.
That's fair. It is like a Letterman jacket, though.
Yeah.
But true. Having coming from somebody whose high school letter jacket is a half a size too small. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you want those big and fluffy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it comes down to the middle of my forearms.
I'm short enough where I think I could wear a medium.
Yep.
But I would want a large.
If I had peaked a little more in high school, I would have fixed my jacket by now.
Oh.
It stayed back home. I did not bring it up here with me.
Oh yeah, you peaked in high school.
I'm 100% peaked in high school. I 1000% peaked in high school.
Unfortunate for you.
Whatever. All right, I think it is time to put a bow on this, and
woohoo.
I guess say it. Twas.
It's opening night.
'Twas the night before for you,
wasn't.
and the night of for me.
Yep, and more people have started the season, so we are in opening week, folks, and that is so exciting.
Real stuff. We're talking about real shit today.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Also, your Texan came out so bad.
I know, that was the point. That's what I was going for.
Okay.
I was going for that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast and want to listen more of it, just keep going. Every single episode, all 10 episodes
we now have 10 episodes.
are available on, I believe it's on Spotify, on YouTube. And
not Apple Music
Not
yet.
Apple Music yet, but we're working on it.
Working
Apple
on
Podcasts as well. We're getting there.
If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe.
And tell all your friends about it if they are Knights fans, Wild fans, or just general hockey buffs.
Or if they just want to hear people banter back and forth.
That too.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. And we will, as always, catch you guys in the next one.
See you for episode 11.
Yippee!